What's up? This is Rebel Radio.
What up? What up? This is DJ Newmark.
This is Peanut Butter Wolf.
It's your boy. It's okay.
Keep checking out Rebel Radio.
Rebel Radio.
This is Rebel Radio.
We're in the place right here. Rebel Radio is going down.
Would you say Rebel Radio?
Oh, wait. Let's do it again.
Rebel Radio.
What's up, Rebels? Welcome back to Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Josh Levine. My guest this week, back again for the very first time, is DJ Spider. Spider was with us about a year ago and is back in our studio with stories from the road. He was on tour with Blink-182, has some amazing stories about what that was like opening up for a major rock band. He also shares some of his adventures as a DJ, running into people like Bill Murray, Ray Liotta, Mariah Carey. Really funny stories I think you're going to enjoy. And he tells us a little bit about his new podcast, Selected Eclectic, that he's doing with Steve Wonder. It's a dope one. Make sure you check that out. But first, let's get into our EDM.com track of the week. Yo, that was Control with Lunatic, your EDM.com track of the week. Shout out to EDM.com for that and the music they give us every week. And now let's get into the interview with DJ Spider. So, dude, last time you were in here, well, first of all, you were about to go on tour with Blink-182, so I want to hear how that went.
I went on the tour.
Nice. You survived.
I survived. I'm a changed man.
And I got to know those. I don't really know those guys, but I got to spend a little time with them. We did that Funny or Die video with Linkin Park.
Right.
And Blinkin Park.
Right. Yes.
And,
I mean, I was looking at that whole thing.
Yeah. So those dudes are a trip from what I could tell. So
yeah.
But
they're all completely different human beings,
yeah.
but they're all super cool.
Yeah. I got that. It was fun, like watching the dynamic of them just in the room. Mm-hmm. You know, Mark, I think, is like super outgoing, and Travis is like kind of kept to himself. And,
yes, 100%.
Yeah, that was interesting. So we got to hear about that. Okay. But you gave me that hat, and we talked about the make DJing great again.
And Donald Trump had not been elected.
Right. And so the crazy thing is I started wearing it out, and I was like, I just liked the hat. I thought it was dope. It was a cool story. So I was wearing it.
Uh-huh.
And but then I started getting the responses from people, like as I'm walking down the street, and like this one lady, she had to be in her late 60s. I thought she was going to hit me.
Right.
Because she thought it was a Trump hat.
Yes.
And she's like, "What is that?" And just like started to yell at me, and then she's like, "Oh, okay." And then other people, I would say, I don't know how often this happened to you, but like at least a dozen people are like, "What's DJing?"
Oh, yeah.
Like totally confused.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is that the thing they're confused about? I mean, I don't know. It's the DJing thing is definitely a big thing that I've never had thought of before. And people are like, you need an apostrophe. I'm like, no, you don't. That doesn't even make sense.
There's no apostrophe.
What is the apostrophe doing?
No.
I guess it's making people say, if anything, you need like a hyphen or something.
Right.
Like DJ.
But you don't put an apostrophe after run.
No. Yeah, exactly. I know. The day that Trump got elected, I covered the sticker on my laptop, and I felt so weird about it. Like I was at Sundance Film Festival, and I remember everyone was watching. Like, I think
so. The inauguration. That would have been inauguration.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the inauguration.
Yeah.
And I think when he got elected, I was like, oh, this feels weird now. Like, it doesn't feel as much of a joke.
Yeah.
And then I remember the inauguration, and everyone was like, this is the worst. And I was like, maybe I'm not going to DJ all these parties with all these entertainment people with that. Because I didn't want people even saying that.
Of course.
Oh, what is that?
Right.
But, at this point, there's a million parody or whatever takeoff things, make everything great again, you know. But I stopped pushing the
Did
thing.
you?
The hats still sell. Like, I'll get a little statement every month, like,
Right,
oh,
right,
a few
right.
people bought it. But I do feel like it's like Trump people.
Really?
I don't know. Like, I mean,
So you think if you're a Trump supporter, you have like one of everything? You have
maybe. I've
you're
noticed
just like, yeah,
some-
we're just making shit
some
great again.
pro-Trump people like are like that.
Is
you
that
know what I
right?
mean? And then I'm like, no, that's not.
You
what
track
it's
like the zip
for.
codes where the hats are being shipped.
Yeah, or like through DJing, like you get to know a lot of different
yeah.
people, and like I
Sure.
know like on the internet when you're like live in Los Angeles or New York and you're on the internet, like you don't like see Trump people in real life,
Right.
but like when I travel the country or anywhere, even other parts of the world, like there's like real deal Trump people. Like I've been in places where everybody's like a Trump supporter, and I'm like, oh God, I'm like here in this crazy world.
Right.
Even right before he got elected, I was in Cleveland, and it was the Republican National Convention, and it was like,
You DJ'd the Republican National
no,
Convention?
God, no.
That'd be awesome.
I would do like the crazy, most political set ever.
Play YG.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, so, I mean, I don't, maybe we can bleep some things on here if I don't.
Sure, that's fine.
I don't know. I don't want to offend people. But, to each their own. Everyone has their own opinion. But I was just in a place, and they sat me down before the club started, and they're like, we never do this. We hate telling DJs what to do. But, I'm like, okay, what's the but? Can you not play the Fuck Donald Trump song? And I'm like, oh my God.
You're like,
And I
well,
was
there goes my set.
Yeah, I'm like, that's my whole routine. No, so I was like, yeah, why? And they're like, well, someone played it, and the whole staff got upset, and all our
Wow.
customers and everyone. I'm like, oh, why? And they're like, because everyone loves Trump here. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, okay. I'm like, you still do? This was like a month ago, or like 2 months ago. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Like, I wasn't going to play it anyway. I've played it, and I played it in places where I know people are going to support. And I
Yeah.
played it more before the election and in the beginning part. But after a while, I'm like, I don't necessarily want a political DJ set.
Sure.
Like, people are here
Yeah.
to party. But that's been a thing,
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I went to another place the next night, and, like, they showed me a video of, like, the DJ playing a Donald Trump speech over, like, an EDM song, and like the crowd going crazy.
Seriously?
And like chanting it, like "Make America Great Again," and they're
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, I'm like, oh my God, this is real. But in Cleveland too, I was just DJing a club, but the entire airplane was like Trump, like people wearing T-shirts with like a picture of Trump pointing at you, and it says like, "You're fired," "Make America Great Again," and like every person, with like a American flag pin, and I was just like, this is it. Like, he's
Wow.
going to win. Like, I was there like,
Yeah.
this is real. Like, everybody wants this guy.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now we're here.
That song's going to be great once this whole shit's over.
Yeah. I mean, I will put myself in someone else's shoes. Like, if people were playing like "Fuck Obama" songs all the time in the club, it would be like kind of awkward. you know?
Yeah, sure.
Not like he was it's not like he was horrible, but
No, of course, it's
You
still
know.
like, yeah, I don't know that you want to be force-fed politics in the middle of a.
I mean, in
trying
a
to-
concert experience, it's one thing.
Sure.
But in a DJ experience, it's like, if you're going to play a bunch of Future songs and then you decide to play Fuck Donald Trump, like, why don't you, like, take stands against each one of the artists,
Right.
doing, like, R.
Sure.
Kelly and each person, like, what they've done to people.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like, if you're really
So your
that-
set is Chris Brown, R.
Yeah.
Kelly.
If you're going to cut out everyone, people say to me now, do you play R. Kelly still, man? I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess so. Should I
Yeah.
not? Am I supposed to not play each person according to what they've did?
Right.
Or,
I'm gonna start. We're gonna start dropping in Bill Cosby skits
yeah.
in the show.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's too much bad stuff, I guess, at this point.
So other than that though, like, as you're traveling around the country and seeing like different, like, is
Yeah.
the vibe changing? We stay in the bubble, man, so we don't know what's.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's different.
Is it different traveling around the country? Like,
I don't know. I mean, in the vibe in the sense of what, like the actual place when I go out, or like the nightclub.
or just what you're seeing. Yeah, either one, I guess. Is America great again? That's what I'm trying to find out.
America is the same. It's weird. I mean,
Okay.
I think that I don't know. It's like a blob that's evolving, you know. But it's definitely divided in the sense that all the Trump people want to be these Trump people that are standing by no matter what, and that's it, you know. And then all the other people are like super hardcore, and then there's all like in between people that are like, what am I caught in between, you know? So I don't know, you know. I mean, it's the same, but you know, it doesn't necessarily trickle into the nightclub stuff as much unless people, like I said, do it, you know, play the songs.
Yeah, sure.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, I was playing Obama stuff in my set. I remember when he first got elected. And
I would
like
take
speeches Tribe Called Quest and be like, "Can I kick it?" And be like, "Yes, we can." Stuff like that. But yeah,
not so much anymore.
No, I don't think so.
And are you still doing the Vegas residency?
I'm not. No. I do just one-offs. Like I just did Light Nightclub the past couple months, and I'll do wherever I get booked. But right now I'm just kind of, I have certain residencies like in certain cities, like Chicago and San Francisco, San Diego, a bunch of places, but no Vegas right now.
Tell me about the tour.
Okay, the tour was amazing. You know, just experiencing that type of tour from my perspective was so crazy. Just being on like a rock tour, you know, like one of the biggest ones ever. I just felt like lucky, you know, blessed,
what kind of venues
grateful.
were you playing?
We were playing amphitheaters and arenas. So we did probably 60 shows, I think, or something like that. North America. We started in San Diego and ended in Irvine, and just did like a big circle from San Diego all the way around the United States, Canada, and then all the way back down. And I mean, we had 8 tour buses and something like 12 or 15 semi-trucks worth of stuff. And it was cool. It was my first tour, and a lot of the experienced people were like, just so you know, this is a one-of-a-kind tour. Like, you will never be on something like this again. Yeah, they were just like, this is unbelievable, and like every show sold out, and everything was just like top of the line, best thing ever. So they're like, enjoy this, you know, while you can. So I tried to. But yeah, it was really cool. I was on this bus called the Ocho, the number 8 bus, which is a very infamous bus on the Blink tours, I guess. Yes. And I'm not allowed to say why. It's like a Fight Club.
Fair enough.
But just crazy stuff happened. But best people ever. Like, from every human being that was on the tour was like just, you know, the best, from the crew to everyone. And, you know, I think I went through a bit of hazing process some of the people, but everyone was super cool, and it was fun, and I got to like just be thrown into this crazy experience from a DJ opening up for rock bands and for crowds that are, I think it was all ages, and were not used to DJing, or even, they didn't even know what DJing was.
Is that right?
I think not everybody. I'm not going to like...
of course.
But a lot of people were like,
really?
What is this? Yeah. And I mean,
Have they taken DJs out with them before?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. And especially I was the opening act. Like, I think a lot of people thought, oh, he's in the band, or he's playing like right before they get on, he hypes them up, or he's like scratching with Travis. But I was like the opening act. So it was me, and then another band, and then another band, and then Blink.
Wow. How long did you do?
What?
How long was your set?
I would do between 30 minutes to an hour. It would depend. So like it depended on what was going on that night. So usually 45 minutes, which was like my sweet spot, especially for that kind of crowd. Like an hour was starting to get long, because that was even longer than, I think, like right before the headline, like A Day to Remember. I wasn't even doing an hour, and I'm up there like, hey, look at me, you don't even know who I am. But it was interesting, you know. And even in the beginning, I think the production people were like, all right, you're on right away, like at doors. And that was weird for me, because I would start DJing and there'd be like 4 people, you know, in the front. And then everyone would start running in. And then, you know, they're getting popcorn and beer. And like, what is this guy doing? And I'm up there like, am I supposed to, you know, what do I do?
Yeah, sure.
So after the first show, they were like, look, you need to go on later.
Yeah.
They pushed my set time back at least like 15 minutes. They let the doors open. And then I would do my thing, and my set just evolved. Like, in the beginning, I thought, oh, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play that. They're going to be so into the new hip-hop. They're going to be so into EDM. They're going to be so into... I thought there was like a whole connection between pop, punk, metal, this and that, and EDM.
Yeah.
No. I mean, not for those kind of crowd. Maybe like at the EDM show, but like not these people.
So what were they looking for?
They seemed like to respond more to the stuff they knew, you know, like rock and like pop punk and stuff like that. And then what I tried to do was mix it with other stuff, you know. So I would take Fall Out Boy, put a hip hop beat under it, or take like, you know, a remix by this guy Scooter I had, and he put a hip hop beat under it. Then cut to the acapella, drop in another beat like a hip hop song, then go to a rock song, then go to like the Ramones, you know, play Blitzkrieg Bop, and then go to the acapella, like, hey, ho, let's go. Put a hip-hop beat under that, and, like, sort of show them what DJing was, and that I can mix all this stuff together and take the stuff they know and go with it. And I would see, like, my reward would be, like, seeing some people's eyes open wide and go, oh, my God, what's he doing? That's crazy. Oh, and they're singing along and jumping up and down, having fun. And then you'd see other people just, like, give you a thumbs down or be like, what is this crap? You know?
Seriously?
Yes. Oh, my God. I mean, the tweets I got were so amazing, you know, because they were just polar opposites.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, that was the best, you know, thing I've ever witnessed. And then the other thing was like, you know, I would retweet some of them. Like, one of the best ones, this person was like, if DJ Spider tells me to make noise one more time, I will descend from the rafters with blood-curdling screams and kill him. And I was like, okay, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And I retweeted it, and everyone's like, oh, yes. You know?
That's great.
And to that person's credit, I think I did say, make some noise like 47 times, but I needed them to make noise.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we were at like Barclays Arena, you know, in like Brooklyn. I'm like looking out there like, yo, let's go.
Yeah.
Plus it was the beginning, and I'm trying to hype people up and get them into it. And I'm doing everything. Like when we're in Brooklyn, I'm doing a Biggie set. I'm playing hip hop. I'm playing Beastie Boys. I would do like a whole Beastie Boys medley, and then just kind of see what people be into, you know. And then I'd get a crew of people like, oh, we're into that. And then I'd go Nirvana and System of a Down, and you know, just try to hit every angle in a way, you know, and just keep alive the mashup DJing sort of thing, but in a more updated way and in a show way, because everyone's looking at me. So I'm on the mic, I'm getting them into it, I'm playing an 80s song, and I'm like, yo, you can dance right now, like, let's go. I'm up here, I'm having fun, and just sort of, I had fun and looked like an idiot and let them let their guard down a bit, you know.
So how do you approach that? How is that different than the way you approach a nightclub set?
Because a nightclub, like, people are there to talk to each other and, like, be social with each other and drink. You know, there's the people that are there to buy the bottles and be in the table and be seen and be like, yo, look at me.
Of course.
And then there's the people that are just there to be social. And, you know, it's not necessarily all about the DJ. Sometimes it is, I guess. But from the way I grew up is, like, I don't want them looking at me. I want them looking at each other. I want them... I want to see their back. I want them talking to a girl or a guy and having fun. And once in a while, you know, talk to them or get them involved. But for the most part, I'm used to, you know, I want girls to dance and, you know, then everyone to have fun. But there, I come out, everyone is staring at me, and they're like, what are you about to do for me to entertain me? You know, so I have to, like, create a show. And by the end, I'm doing, you know, the, like, tour managers for like a day to remember, like, you need to do something, you know, here's a stack of tortillas, like, throw this in the crowd. I'm like, all right. So I'd be like throwing tortillas in the crowd, like, catch the magical tortilla, and like doing crazy things, and people are catching them and they're very into it. I feel like I could have thrown out like Rite Aid receipts and they were like, yes, you know, like going nuts.
So the tortillas are your Steve Aoki's cake.
I guess I realized later, like, if you're gonna brand yourself with a food, like, you should pick like a very like tasty or maybe like expensive like type food, you know, because I realized later, I don't want stacks of tortillas. Like, I should have been like, caviar.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You're throwing out blinis.
Yeah, like endless sushi, the only high quality, you know, like, and then that's what people bring me. I'm like, oh, this is great. Instead, I'm like,
you just gonna get mad tortillas.
Yeah, because some people are, you know, there's a lot of bad.
You probably can get a tortilla sponsorship, though.
I could. I mean, people are doing it with tacos.
Mission. Isn't that the big tortilla company?
How many tortillas can you eat, though? And then you have like a dry mouth. Then you have tortilla.
And you need a
flour,
cheese.
like, around your
Then
like,
you need
lips.
a cheese sponsorship to go with that.
Yes, true.
So maybe you start throwing
Cheese
out
could be good. You could
quesadillas.
sprinkle like endless cheese just on the crowd.
Oh, that's not bad. Shredded cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a shredded cheese gun that you can just like, it's like the confetti. It's like, open your mouth, Gouda.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah. But I think that cake is pretty good to brand yourself with and champagne, but I need to pick like a real good food.
I mean, tortilla flies, though. Pretty. If you
That's why we did it. By then we were
right.
taking Sharpies and we draw and write tons of stuff all over the tortillas.
Oh, that's
Toss them out in the crowd. People were hyped on it. I don't know if they still have it. It might be like very moldy.
Oh yeah, that's probably not a keeper. Right?
You have to like
it's not like
lacquer it up or something. Like,
laminate.
Yeah, you have to
can
laminate the tortilla. That should have been like a service I could have provided.
Yeah, for sure. Have a dude at the merch booth.
Yes.
Get your tortillas laminated for like
exactly.
$2.
Yeah, I learned about the merch game a lot on the tour too.
What were you selling?
Just that, you know, that's a huge part of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
For sure.
So I ended up just throwing out all my stuff to the crowd.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I sold some stuff, but
yeah.
The after parties were my thing.
Right,
you know?
right.
I'd do the show, and then I'd do an after party like in as many cities as possible. I mean, I'm in Boise, Idaho, like DJing in a crazy basement, and like, it was cool. And then I have to rush back and try to hit the bus. Yeah. Like a couple times they left me, and I had to fly to the next city. But for the most part, they waited. It was great. And then you would just get on the bus, eat cereal or whatever. It was like, you know, the best thing ever. It was like a rolling hotel room.
Yeah.
I would just pass out, wake up.
Could you sleep on the bus?
In the beginning, I could not, and then after a while, yeah.
I did one night. I went.
Oh man.
We took Mayor Hawthorne on tour.
Yeah.
A few years back with Mazda.
Okay.
And I went to the first city was Fort Lauderdale, and I rode the bus, and I flew the rest of the way.
Oh yeah.
I just couldn't sleep. Like
if you have to give in and like you'll get used to it. But yeah, I couldn't sleep in the beginning. It was the worst. And I mean, there's elements of putting yourself to sleep using medications. No, I don't, called alcohol or something. Sure. People would just get, you know, super drunk or something, and you would just wake up and be like, I'm in the woods of Syracuse, New York. Like, I would not know where I was every morning. I would wake up and just like peer out my window. And
man.
Okay, I don't know where I am. I need to find a shower and like a bathroom and food and coffee. That was my mission.
Totally.
Daily.
Did you ask somebody for advice before you went on tour, like that knew the tour game?
You know, not enough. Yeah. No. I did ask some people, but looking back, I had no idea what to expect. And even the people that told me, I didn't know what they were talking about. And then I learned as I went. Now I feel seasoned. I mean, it was like 3 straight months on the bus, like no breaks. We got 1 break, but I didn't even have enough time to fly to LA because we were going to have to be in some weird city that I couldn't fly back to. So I ended up meeting my wife and kid in Iowa.
Oh, wow.
And getting like a day and a half with them there. And then her mom lived there at the time, so they hung out. And then I flew back to like, I don't know where, somewhere Midwest or East Coast or something. But yeah, leaving them was crazy too.
I'm sure. What do you think you learned? Like any big learnings that you would take away from that?
Well, like I said, just like on some crowd control stuff, like DJing to these massive arenas, like the difference between an arena and a stadium and an amphitheater was so different that I didn't realize. So we did like Hershey Park Stadium, and like that was way different than Camden, New Jersey amphitheater, you know, or like a Grand Rapids like arena. Like the arena would, for me, would be like cracking right away. I'd come out, there'd be the floor people that were going to be in the pit. They were like ready to go, you know, and then all the people in the seats were just kind of filing in. At the amphitheater, it was like in the back, like all the people with the cheap seats were in the grass, like way in the back.
First,
all the front people are like, you know, very serious, like big fans of like the last Blink or somebody, you know, and I'm just there like trying to, you know, get them to party. So I have to communicate with the people on the way back at the amphitheater. In the arena, they're like right in the front, and then in the stadium, they were just like all around. But just, yeah, crowd control stuff, what to play, you know, as a DJ, like how to perform more rather than just make people dance. And, you know, yeah, and then just the tour life, like the different things that go into putting on a show of that scale, like how we drive into a city and get there, and the crew is like unbelievable, you know, all the stuff they do, from building the whole show. It's from 6 a.m. till we're done. I mean, they never sleep. Like they'll sleep in like a chair for like 5 minutes. But just seeing how that's all put together, I guess, was really cool to learn. And then yeah, just from my perspective, the crowd control and with DJing and getting on the mic and stuff like that, I think was a big takeaway.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. So what now? Now I see you got, I know you got your podcast.
Oh yeah, I started a podcast with Steve. For music stuff. Like I do tons of special events still, from like the movie premieres and you know, award shows, and like I'm doing an Emmy party next month and all that stuff. And I never really get to put those mixes out, you know. So I thought, and SoundCloud's been taking down my stuff. Mixcloud, I don't know if anyone listens to it. So I just thought, what if I do a podcast and just do those kind of mixes and then connect with other DJs in other cities that are doing that. So
that's cool. So is it you and Steve Wonder the whole time?
Steve Wonder and Mr. Best.
Okay.
I've been doing it. It's called Selected Eclectic. And yeah, it's been fun. We were really dedicated the first few months, and we did every single week, no matter what, and we had guests. And then we all started traveling and doing stuff for the past few weeks. But, so yeah, I've been doing that. You know, I've been doing some different types of gigs. Like I just opened for 311 in Salt Lake City at the same amphitheater I played with Blink the year before. I just did that last week. And I've been doing some rock shows. South by Southwest, I opened for Pennywise and Jimmy Eat World, and that was super fun. So I've been getting booked for those kind of things, all the special event things, still doing the nightclubs, just traveling around everywhere. And whatever else, you know, in between I can do, and then doing my podcast and some other ideas I've just been working on that are not ready to talk about yet, basically.
Do you think like, I don't know, are you suited to the rock shows?
Yes, I feel like I am, even more so than I think I am. Like, I don't know, I'll do these sets at the show, and I'm thinking, oh, everybody knows these songs or that, and I'll talk to other DJs and like, you know, I don't play any of that stuff. And I met some other people on the road. Like I met this guy, Reed Streets, in Philly. Okay. And that's kind of what he does. You know, he'll play with these different rock bands, indie rock bands, and do those kind of sets and do those mixes. And it was cool to link up with someone like that that's in the same vein, but he's doing his own thing, you know, with it.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's becoming a thing, even with Mixmaster Mike on tour with Metallica and a lot of bands.
Yeah.
I mean, have a lot of bands have been having DJs open for them, and I think it's cool, and people are more used to DJing now, somewhat. I mean, I thought, like I said, on the Blink thing, they would be more than they were, but I had to sort of break that open for them, I think. And yeah, I enjoy doing it. It's like a challenge. You know, all the crowds are different. Even the 311 crowd was way different than the Blink crowd, which I figured out.
Yeah?
Yes. And
how so?
I don't know. I mean, I only did one show, so if I were to do more, I would kind of know what to do. But a lot more reggae.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Reggae vibe,
Sure.
I guess, and just different. Yeah, you know, people that go see live shows are different than nightclub people, you know, or even EDM show people. So it's fun. I love doing it, and it's a challenge and lets me go into things that I have that I'm like, where would I ever play this, and play like a Green Day a cappella and then bring in a beat under it and then do a remix and, you know, try to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah, I often have that conversation about the difference between nightclubs and concerts, and like.
Oh yeah.
And I'm definitely more of a nightclub person.
Me too. Well, I don't know about that. I like both. I mean, I grew up being a concert person, 100%. I don't think I ever went to a nightclub.
What was your first concert?
You know, I don't remember. My first like clear memory for some reason is seeing Tesla play in Irvine Meadows.
I don't even know who that
like
is.
A hair metal band, like my
Okay.
friend's older brother. Like
Wow.
I don't know, he was all into that, so we would go
Yeah.
see like hair metal groups like
Okay.
here, and then I would go see the Beastie Boys like
Oh,
every
really?
single time, anytime and every time they would play
Is
here
that
in LA.
when that was when Mike was with them?
No, that was I think it was before.
Okay.
That was like high school, you know, like end of junior high, high school, like
Okay.
early 90s.
Oh, yeah,
I think.
okay. So like,
I would go see them.
I'm trying to remember.
Like
who
right
the
after
DJ
Check
was
Your
then.
Head, I think.
It was the
Well,
dude
no,
from the
I saw
Afros.
them with Mike, but I think I saw them a little bit before.
Okay.
I've seen a few of their. I would go see their shows,
Yeah.
and then I just started getting to hip hop shows, and I would go to every hip hop show ever, you
Yeah.
know. And then I lived in the Bay for a while, and I'd go to every DJ battle, every hip hop show, you know. Like I would see anytime the Roots were playing, or Outkast, or
Sure.
anything. I remember seeing this show with the Roots, Goody Mob. I mean, so many people. Far Side, like every Hieroglyphics, De La Soul, you know, any show I could go to like that. And, you know, nightclubs weren't a thing for me at all. Even clubs I would do in LA, but it was more like the Root Down, or like things where people
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
breaks and stuff like that. And then I discovered the nightclub world like my mid-20s, and I was like, oh, this is cool, you know. Because of DJ AM and like
Right.
Mark Ronson, I thought it was cool. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're making it cool. Like I used to think this was just like douche central, but
Yeah, sure. No, but when I
You know
said
what I
nightclub,
mean.
like that's what, you know, for us it was like Root Town, Chocolate Bar, Firecracker,
exactly.
like
yeah. Yeah, that was my goal, was
Yeah.
to like play at all of those places. You know, I would go
Yeah.
there just like, this is amazing.
yeah.
But it's definitely a different crowd, but I think the younger generation is like, a lot of people go to nightclubs, but I feel like they're leaning more towards the shows and the bar culture, you
Yeah.
know, and they
Sure.
want to talk to each other more and like just go with that vibe, I guess, you know. Especially festivals are so huge now, you know, it's crazy.
So yeah, when last time you were on, like I don't know if we really talked about this, but it was kind of at the EDM was sort of like peaking,
Okay.
I think, or maybe it was kind of starting to.
Right.
But now it's like that's pretty much dead.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's dead, you know, like, can I get some of that?
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's, I don't know, just like anything else, like stuff comes into the popular culture, and then like it finds its place, you
Yeah.
know. So I think, and like it comes into the nightclub world because it's cool at the
Right.
time, and it becomes mainstream, and then it falls back into its like place.
Yeah.
So like I think EDM is still bigger than ever, but it's a younger crowd that's a more show-based ticket, hard
Yeah, so
ticket
it's the
thing.
festivals.
Yeah, it's the festivals,
Right.
or they'll do it at a nightclub, but it'll be a hard ticket night.
Right.
And then they'll do a normal nightclub the next night.
Yeah.
But I think it's still a huge thing. It's just not like in clubs where they're like play Tiesto and Hardwell in like a mainstream club. Now they're like play Playboy Cardi, you know, and Migos.
Yeah.
And like open format DJing is basically like hip hop at this point.
Yeah.
Like slow, you know, hip hop. But yeah, I mean, I think EDM's still doing its thing and it's really cool and but it's like a show type thing and a festival experience, you know. I think it's people love the experience of it and just being in this crazy place, you know, and doing whatever they do.
Yeah.
When they go see it.
Yeah. I wasn't asking this when you were on before.
Yeah.
But I've been asking lately. Do you remember the first record you ever bought?
Oh man, I do remember the first. You know, no. Well, I remember having like albums. You know, like Sesame Street, like records. You know, like and.
But you didn't buy that. Like.
Oh, that
someone
I
bought
bought
that for you. Yeah.
I remember having a Run DMC tape and a Beastie Boys tape. You know, like License to Ill and the purple Run DMC. You know,
self-titled.
Yeah.
Or
and you know, it was I think it was like their second record or something. But
Raising Hell.
Yeah. And I just remember having both those in 5th grade and just being like, this is so crazy. Like I put this, I don't know, it was just different than anything I'd ever heard. And
totally.
I think that was one of the first things I could pick out. And I remember, buying like, this wasn't my first, but Low End Theory, just because of like the artwork. And I was like, what is this? You know, and I'd never heard Tribe before that. And then I had to go back and listen to their stuff that had come before it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we all had that experience.
Yeah, but Run DMC and Beastie Boys were definitely my beginning. You know, into all that. It was just like I had heard rock stuff, just the way it was just all mixed together. It was the best thing I'd ever heard in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels weird now, like there's, you know, growing up like that, and then now there's all these movies and, you know, there's The Get Down and there's all these documentaries coming out and like, it feels like every detail of like hip hop history is being told on TV.
Right. Yeah, it's like, well, sometimes they're like retelling it too in a lot of those shows.
Yeah,
like, I saw this. I mean, I already know, but then I'm like, well, other people wouldn't know if this is the only thing they see.
Absolutely.
But it's cool. I mean, how Google had the turntables on the website for 2 days. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but that was so dope.
No, that was really cool.
Like, I hope they like release that technology to the world. You know, for people to play with. Yeah,
for sure. So, and then I saw there's you and Vice did a remix?
So I share a studio space with Vice and some other people. We have like our own rooms in this building. And we've just been collabing on more stuff. And there's this guy, Nicky Blitz, who is here, you know.
Okay. APG artist.
Yeah, he's signed through them, Mike Karen and them, Miles. And they asked us to remix the track, and it's a very like rock, I don't know how you classify it, like surf rock almost, or something like that, sounding song. And they wanted it to be, you know, they thought it'd be cool to have like a summertime vibe, house type song. So we worked on it, had a live guitar player on it.
So are you trying to do more production? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly doing production. Like, it's just my DJing always takes the driver's seat. You know what I mean? It's like it takes over, and I end up having to always do that stuff. But I'm always doing productions. I'm just not putting it out that much.
Right.
And so for this, it was kind of nice for them to say, hey, work on this. And there's like a deadline, and I go and I work on it, and I was super happy with it, you know, and then they seemed super happy with it. They released it, and it's been doing good. It has like over 2 million views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, the Spotify's growing, and Vice is like killing it with all his production stuff too. So it's cool, and it's great to collab with him, like someone I've known forever that I respect. I like, I don't know, love everything about him. He's like the most positive, great, talented dude ever, you know.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was only right, you know, for us to do it. And
Yeah,
then
that's
also
dope.
to work with Mike Karen and Miles Beard and those guys is great.
So how does that, you know, I've talked to a bunch of DJs
Yeah.
about this, like, you know, producing and DJing they're sort of two different careers. Obviously, there's a lot of, you know, reasons why they overlap or
Right.
why one helps the other, but they're kind of two different things. And like you said, you know, you get what, you know, DJing gets in the way of producing or whatever. So, like, how do you think about kind of building both sides of that, or how you divide your attention?
I think just like anything else, there's no rules. You know what I mean? Everyone that says, hey man, can you give me some advice? I'm trying to you know, start out as a DJ or a producer. You know, you're like, yo, everything depends on timing and like, you know, the only thing that is a surefire thing is if you practice and are prepared, you know, and just keep, if you really love it and you find the elements that you love about it and concentrate on that and just work really hard and like keep your head down and just like, go forward, things will come out of it, you know, for sure. But there's no way to go, this is the, you know, rule book of like how to approach it, you know, because I've seen friends that have continued on their path, like DJing and producing at the same time, and it blow up. I've seen people that have had to sort of take a step back, remove themselves from the scene that they're in or the DJ type of scene, produce, sort of build a body of work and a reputation for themselves, and then come out as that person. And then people don't even know who, I'm getting Amber alerted, don't even know who they are as a DJ, you know, like, and they just know them as a producer.
Sure.
So,
is there someone whose path you're trying to follow? Like,
no. You know, I mean, I think that people, there's some, you know, like Grand Theft, for example, is a great example of somebody who has like sort of, I guess, put his eye on the prize and just gone for it, and like sort of was doing a similar thing to like I was with the DJing, and was like, I want to do this, you know, worked on his production the same way he was with the DJing, got really good at it, and is now killing it, and rightfully so. And someone like JCO as well, like, it's a, you know, they have a calculated way of doing it. For me, I don't know, I'm doing it a different way. You know, I've been doing my thing as a DJ, and I want to continue to do it and carry on the style that I love DJing, but like do my production still and let that coincide with it, you know, and let my production be open format in a way, and just make this kind of song and that kind of song and like all types of stuff. Yeah, you know.
So you
just
you mentioned practice.
Yeah.
So you're a great DJ. You've been DJing for a long time.
Yeah.
How much do you practice?
Not enough. I mean, I wish I practiced every day.
Is that right?
But I don't. But I try to practice scratching like as much as possible. It's almost like therapeutic too. Just, I mean, it's therapeutic to practice in itself. Even I saw Bad Boy Bill at that party last night. I mean, he's been doing it forever, and he just did the Back to Vinyl tour, and was doing all vinyl and traveling around. And I was saying how it's just, for me, therapeutic to dig in my vinyl at home and DJ. I'll forget about all my problems. It like almost like meditation will like release stress from me. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I can go do normal things now.
Nice.
But just scratching that's what it is. I can sit there and scratch, and it just sort of like releases something for me. And then, just practicing in the sense of having, I don't know, routines or knowing what acapella goes with this instrumental, and just stuff that's in my head where, oh, I'm DJing, I want to try this, but I don't want to try it live. I'll try it in my studio, and then go do it live.
How much of your set, I guess I'm sure it differs if you're playing a arena or a club, but like how much of the set is pre-planned?
You know, I have like tons of routines that are ever evolving. And I'm constantly downloading new music and making new remixes and
Yeah.
mashups and stuff. So it's both, you know. I mean, just from having experience and looking at the crowds, if I see they're reacting to different stuff, I have to read the crowd. So I can delve into my different routines. Oh, this is that kind of crowd. This will kill it. And then I know I have this song with this song with this song. And then I can freestyle off of that, you know. So I'll have like pieces that go together, and then I'll piece it with another piece, or I'll just make up some stuff on the fly and then go into another zone. But it's never like, here we go, here's a 60-minute set from beginning to end that's exactly the same.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know, I go see a lot of stand-up comedy, and I think that it's similar. Like, I see them come out, they'll do some stuff that they know works to get the crowd on their side.
Right.
Then they'll try out some stuff that's like, oh, that's not working. Oh, that is working. Then they'll go and do the same old thing that I've seen them do, like, because I'll go to the comedy store a lot. I see them do the same thing over.
Comics,
but the crowd's going crazy because the different crowd.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with my DJing. I'm like, all right, I know this is going to hype them up. Now I got them in the palm of my hand. Now I can do some weird stuff where if I lose them, it doesn't matter because I can come back, you know, and so it's like
we just had a comedian on, Steve Hofstetter, and he was talking about, like, you got to kind of win the crowd,
right,
and then that buys you the opportunity to like go off your set.
Yeah, like a comedian, I feel like they can get to the point where people are just laughing at their facial expressions, or even just their silent beat in between the things, or you know, their laugh or their one word, like, I don't know, you know. Right. But in the beginning, they're like, it's all awkward and they're waiting, so they have to win them
they gotta
over.
decide.
And same with the DJ. I think they're just like, who is this? This sucks. And then you win them over, and you can do weird stuff, and then keep them on your side.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Who do you? What comics are you taking right now?
Oh man, I mean, I love Eric Andre and Hannibal Buress. And Neil Brennan. You know, I wanted to go to that Dave Chappelle show. I was in New York. But I couldn't get tickets, but it was like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock and like Pete Davidson. I think is hilarious. I mean, there's so many good comics right now. It's insane. Like, I'll just listen to so many podcasts.
Have you seen
Jared Carmichael?
Yeah, I love that dude.
Yeah, he's so funny. So, you know, and my boy, this guy Frankie Quinones, so funny, dude.
Really?
Like, he is like, he's blowing up already, but he's gonna blow up so big, I think.
Oh, I'm gonna check him out.
He's funny, and he does a lot of characters. He does this thing called Cholo Fit. I feel like that's like his big like YouTube thing right now. Oh my God!
Not the Me Too thing, not the like Cholo workout thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cholo Fit. Yeah. That's dope. Him. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
He's
that's great.
He's the funniest dude ever. Like, when I tried to do a talking podcast on Dash, like in the beginning, like a couple of years ago, I had him on, and we never even put it out, but he told the funniest stories ever. I mean, I still have it recorded, but it was like we were crying.
That's great.
But he's hilarious. He throws shows sometimes, and he had Craig Robinson, this girl, Chase Berenstein, I think, or she's so funny. He had all his friends were like hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I just came across Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, dude, she's so funny. Oh my God. I heard her on.
Killing me.
I think she was on the Champs podcast a long time ago. I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then she was on some other podcast recently I listened to, and I was like, dude, she's hilarious. And then that story she told on, what was it? A talk show. Did you hear that? That's so good.
I don't know.
About being with Will and Jada.
Oh, yeah.
And going on the boat.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, she's killing it. I just saw she just had a Showtime special just came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so good.
Nah, it's so much fun discovering new comics.
Yeah, I love comedy, and it has like a parallel with DJing. And I don't know. That's like my hobby.
Yeah.
Is go see comedians.
Is that right?
Would
you ever
just
get
a
on
fun
stage?
Thing for me. Would I go on stage?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have to start out with like a stand-up comedy routine and be like, you know, when girls request songs and say they're leaving in 5 minutes, and what do you do?
So you're joking about DJing.
Yeah, just literally DJ situations and talking to only DJs. That would be
that'd be kind of
go-to crowd.
You should
Winter Music Conference.
Sujit's next birthday. You should do You should do a roast. Okay, you should
that's a good
organize
idea.
a roast of Sujit for his next birthday.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I
That'll
would
work.
do that. No, I would try. I mean, I did an improv class like a month ago, or a few
Oh,
weeks
really?
ago. Yeah.
I just sent my son to improv camp.
Really? Oh, wow.
And he loved it, but now he wants to do. He wants to learn stand up.
Oh, amazing.
But we were talking about this
I mean,
earlier.
how
like,
old's your son?
He'll be 8
Dude,
next month.
I mean, Seth Rogen was like, what, 12 or
Is that right?
something? Oh, Seth Rogen was doing stand-up? Yeah, he was like, I don't know how old, but like 12 or 14 or
Really?
something.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with my kid is like you were talking about it earlier. Like he wants a class for everything,
Right.
and I'm kind of like, you gotta. So our new deal is, whatever. If you take a class, you have to do double that amount of time
Okay.
by yourself. Mm-hmm. Like so, if you have a guitar teacher come over for an hour, you gotta play 2
Right.
hours.
Yeah, it's not going to pay off if you only do the class.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying
But
to
the
like.
class is a good introduction.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
see if they're going to like it, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to get kids, I took him to Scratch Academy. He got a little
Nice.
lesson there. Because part of the thing is like he doesn't want me to teach him anything.
Of course. No, 100%. I know. I
So-
just talked to like my kids' teachers, and they were like, he's so good with this. When we show him this, I'm like, I can't show
Right.
him anything. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, I know that. I don't want to hear it. I'm like, you're 4. How are you talking to me like this? But he's like a mini teenager when
Totally.
I try to teach him anything.
Mine's the same.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Same. It's all classes
Yeah.
all the time. My wife's like there's classes for everything. I
Everything.
can't remember. She told me some class. I'm like, they have a class for that? And a DJ class. She's like, I'm going to take him to a DJ class. I'm like, his dad is a DJ.
Yeah, but he won't let
I'm like, we have 100 turntables.
Right.
Like, I'm here. Let's do
Exactly.
this. But no, he doesn't want to hear it from me. The DJing, actually, he will learn from me. For
Really?
some reason, he's open to it. But the other stuff,
That's cool.
if it has to do with like building blocks or
Right.
something, or riding a bike, he's like, don't need
Not having
do
it.
not talk to me.
That's awesome.
No. But yeah, I mean, I would, it's something I've been interested in. Maybe one day I'll get the courage to go and do that.
I would love that, but I don't know. I'm not there.
No, I'd have to really like work on it. I'm working on some other, I don't know, other ideas.
Yeah.
I want to do something in that space of just creating funny content. I'm constantly doing it with my Snapchat and my Instagram
Yeah.
story and all that stuff, and even
Yeah.
just the magazine thing. It's just so funny to me that, like last night, I go to this DJ, every DJ and club person's there, and the number one comment besides like, hey, what's up, how you doing, is, dude, I
Mag
love when
life.
you do the magazine thing and you
the
imitate
best.
the covers with your face. And I'm like, I just work, like you said, I just did a remix with Vice that has 2 million hits. Like all these things, I'm like working so hard on it. I spent like a month on a remix. I get live musicians, I'm paying them.
Right.
I'm like, here we go, this is my life's work. And people are like, I love when you imitated a magazine cover. I'm like, why am I even trying? Like, what am I doing? Like, I need to somehow make that
You
my
gotta
job,
monetize
and then
that.
DJing is my
Exactly.
hobby. Yeah,
Exactly.
monetize.
Yeah,
I don't know. Get the world into this magazine thing.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing it. It's so funny. Like, I was saying the airports are like trying to bring me down though. Like
Seriously?
the man doesn't want me doing this anymore because I was in Phoenix yesterday, flying back, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing a mag life. Like I've been trying to do it all weekend.
Yeah.
There's nothing around. And I go, and they've taken out all the like Hudson News like
Oh, really?
stores and replaced it with just like a wall. So it's just like snacks, water, and the magazines against the wall. But
Yeah.
like, I can't do it. I need the
Right,
props.
right.
I got to be in, and there's only like 7 magazines, so like I need more choices.
I
you
mean,
know?
the magazine business,
Yeah. Well,
not good.
yes, that is true.
it's not good.
I know. I need to just do like online with the iPad or something,
Exactly.
or like find other things to imitate.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of going to those. Yeah, the magazine business is not good, but somehow there's endless 24-hour, 7 days a week magazine shops in
crazy.
LA,
I
right?
know.
Like on Ventura and
Yeah,
Laurel
yeah, yeah.
Canyon,
Yeah.
there's a dude 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sitting there selling magazines. Who's
To
buying
nobody.
that?
No one.
Like I know it
Nobody's
used to be
buying
for the studios, and they'd be like, we need Variety or New York Times or something.
Oh yeah, I used to have people, or they'd
I
go,
remember. I was a guy. I was a PA. I'd have to
or
go get it.
Go get like 20 magazines.
But now they have like iPads.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what's the point of that.
For sure. All right, I have some questions I have to ask you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, we added all kind of shit to the show since you.
Oh, dope. It's been at least a year. Right?
Okay, before we do that, you have a picture with Bill Murray.
I have a picture with Bill Murray. Yes.
What did he say?
Oh my God.
We ask everybody this question.
What did Bill Murray say? What did Bill Murray? So, I mean, I've seen Bill Murray at like.
So you're DJing
events.
a party, right?
I was DJing some sort of, I think, Oscar party or something, and there was a lot of people there. But, well, I guess whatever. I'm sure I could tell the entire story. I'm DJing. There's all types of different people there. I see there's like a bunch of girls like dancing right in front of me, and I see like an older gentleman like sort of dancing with them or like talking to them, and I'm like, dude, that guy looks like Bill Murray. It's so crazy. And I'm like, that is totally Bill Murray. He's like dancing with all those girls. He leaves. He like goes up to his hotel room or whatever it is, comes back, comes over and says, I don't remember exactly how it began, but he says to me, hey, can you play another song? What was it? Basically, the night was ending, and the manager of the whole hotel came over and said, hey, we're going to get a ticket if we don't stop by this time, midnight or 12:15. And I was like, okay. And Bill Murray comes over, he goes, can you play one more song? I'm like, the manager's telling me I can't do it, but I mean, you're Bill Murray. Like, I'm going to do whatever you want. So he goes, okay, play, I forget what it was, something, so I'm playing it, and the manager's like, you got to turn it off. I'm like, Bill Murray is telling me to play a song. Yeah. And so she walks away. Bill Murray comes back, he goes, yo, can you play the song? And I'm like, the manager's telling me, he goes, I'll protect you. Whatever she says, I got you. I'm going to stand in front of you. And I'm like, this is insane.
That's fantastic.
He goes, and she goes, so she comes over, and he defends me, like you said. And he goes, we need one song. We can't end the night like this, And she goes, what song do you want to hear? And this was like the best part. He goes, Marvin Gaye, Got to Give It Up, the extended version. But he looks at me, and he kind of says, like, the extended version. Like, he's like, Marvin Gaye, Got to Give It Up. And, like, the extended version is 15 minutes. So I'm like, this is the best. He knows what the hell he's doing because he knows he's telling me to put on a 15-minute song. And this is why Bill Murray is the best human being on earth, I think.
For sure.
So I'm like, oh, sure. And she's like, just one more. Like her face is red. And I'm like, okay. So boom, I put it on. People are dancing. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Everyone's dancing. She's looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is the song. 7 minutes go by. They're all still dancing, And it's like a dance song, and everyone's like really partying at this point. Bill Murray's like having time of his life with all the girls. And he's looking at me like, you're killing it. It's 8 minutes in. And she's like, you got to turn it off. You got to turn it off. So he comes back to defend me because he's like the best person ever. And she's like, you got to turn it off at this point. This is crazy. And the security's like, I don't know, bro. You got to turn it off. And I'm like, it's a long song. It's one song. And he's like, you told us we could play one song. This is one song. It's just a really long song. And he's like doing the semantics, like going through all of it. She's like, you got to turn it off. Finally, like 11 minutes, like they were like, yo, we're about to pull the plug, So I had to like echo it out. And then he was just like, thank you so much. Like you just, that you did that. And
that's awesome.
Like he was just the best. He like stood by me the whole time defending me, just like he said. And then he just disappeared like into thin air. And that was my Bill Murray experience.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So crazy. Yeah, I have a bunch of those interesting
I'm sure, yeah.
Run-ins.
I'm sure.
I had like, a crazy Ray Liotta.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
I'm allowed to say,
All right.
but nothing bad. It was just like, he was just by the booth. Like, I'm DJing this party, and I mean, there's everybody there, all kinds of people. And like Mariah Carey comes in, and some dude literally comes up to me and goes, Mariah Carey is here. You can play her music now. And I was like, oh, is that what I'm supposed to do? And
because you were waiting.
Yes. And I was like, okay, here you go.
What'd you play?
She wants to hear,
Fantasy.
I think, I played the Old Dirty Bastard one.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple other ones. They wanted like a lot of her stuff.
I mean, that's at least a good club song, like.
Yeah.
With Dirty.
It wasn't a club though.
Oh.
So it was definitely kind of
like
weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. The Ray Liotta story is very long.
They didn't make you play like her new album or some shit.
No, but it was just funny. The dude was like, "You can play it now." I was like, "Okay." It's like the king has arrived. Serve him his wine. I'm like, "Okay, I've got it right here."
That's awesome.
But like the Ray Liotta, he's just chilling next to the booth, like the whole time, talking to someone, like telling a story, but like he's Ray Liotta, so it just sounds like he's gonna kill somebody, you know? So he's just like, this fucking guy, I'm gonna fucking kill him, and he's coming over to me, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me, motherfucker! I can't fucking believe it. And I'm like, that's like all I hear. I'm like, this is nuts. And I'm just DJing, like trying to listen, but I couldn't hear anything besides like this fucking guy, like over and over.
That's so good.
And then he just like goes, boom. Oh no, he asks me a question. He goes, he's gonna fucking know. Let's ask him. What was the song with the thing, you know? And I'm like, I didn't know what he was talking about, you know? So, and I'm like, oh, what was it again? And he's like, you know, it says like, da, 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 in the song. And I'm like, and then he like turns away and I'm like, Google. And I'm like, da, 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 and I pull it up and I look at him. I'm like, I didn't forget what it was, you know? I'm like, Jackson Brown. And he's like, Jackson fucking Brown. That's what I'm talking about. See, he knows. And I'm like in the conversation with Ray Liotta now. Like, I feel like I'm in like, you know, Goodfellas. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. I know. So then at that point, he starts talking to me and like bring me in the conversation. And he has like this glass of red wine with ice in it, like filled to the top, which is kind of like, I don't know, his thing. And he's like, boom, like, you know, talking like with his hands, hits the red wine, and it just pours out like underneath the turntable somehow, luckily, but my whole DJ booth was just red wine. And he's just like, oh shit, you know, and I'm like, oh shit is right, like I don't even know what to do right now. I was like, all right, it's all good, you know, no problem. And he's like, get some napkins, like telling people around, get napkins. And I'm like, no, we're good, Ray, like it's no problem, like I'm just gonna clean this up myself. I don't know what's happening. And he's like, get napkins, what the fuck? And like they give him like these rags and he starts like mopping it up. And I'm like, no, we're good, like I got this. And he's like, he won't even listen to me. Like he's just cleaning it. And he's like, lift up the turntable, lift up the turn. I'm like, all right. So he's like wiping under the turntable. And the booth had like a thing to shield my turntables from the vision. So it was like sort of like a white 2x4, like on the front and right and left sides of my turntables. And he's like, lift up the wood. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like he's like, lift up the wood. I'm like, no. He's like, lift up the fucking wood. Like in my face, like red, like he's gonna murder me. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to get killed. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I'm like lifting it up, like red wine's like dripping down. Like, you know, the guy, I'm like at like the most high profile person's party in the world. Like they're looking over me like, what the fuck is the DJ doing with Ray Liotta? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So he's like wiping it up and like cleaning everything, and like the people that working there are like, okay, I don't know. It was so awkward. And then he puts it down, and then he proceeds to just chill with me like the whole night, and just was like, what's your name? You know, and I'm like, Spider. He's like, what? I'm like, Spider. He's like, what? I'm like, Oliver. And he's like, Oliver. All right. So, and this like was like the whole night, like, how'd you get into DJing, Oliver? How'd you, you know, asking me the craziest questions, like, what do you do here? What do you know? Like, he's like, this music you're playing, it's not making people dance. Look at these girls over there. Look at them. They're not dancing. And I'm like, I know they asked me to play, like, you know, a specific type of music.
I gotta get through this Mariah Carey.
Yeah, they wanted like Mariah Carey, but they wanted like 1950s, like soul. It was like the weirdest requests for music from the people. They didn't want people to dance. And so I'm going, he's like, and I tell him, and he goes, play some disco. You need to play disco right now. It's going to make the girls dance. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to. He goes, play, I forget what song, some disco song. And I'm like, Ray Liotta's telling me to do it, I'm doing it. So like I put it on, and the girls do not start dancing. And he's like, you're right, they're not dancing. He's like, nobody here is dancing. He's like, what the fuck? You know, like he was just like analyzing it with me, and he's like, I don't understand what goes on here. Like, how do you know what to do? And I'm like, this is like the greatest.
That's incredible. Yeah, you should teach him to DJ.
I would have, but then he talked to a bunch of other people, then circled back and ended up coming back to me like, Oliver, I'll see you later. Thank you. And like shakes my head up like, Ray, you're my dog. I love you, buddy.
Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, that was like, you know, almost, I thought he was going to murder me over the red wine thing. And then someone's like, do you need anything? He's like, another glass of red wine with ice in it would be nice. Like, so, you know, I'm like, this is great.
Ah, that's amazing.
So I have a bunch of those weird stories.
So good.
From doing those parties.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What are you most excited about in your life right now?
Oh my God. Well, there's so many facets. I mean, my son is my most invigorating, inspirational, exciting thing, I think. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Every single possible thing that he says and does to me is like the best. You know,
do you have a like? I mean, it's still young, but like,
right.
Is there like a ritual, or do you have a thing that you do together?
Not really.
No.
I mean, some stuff. You know, like we do a lot of things. You know that he loves. You know, just from like hiking and he loves physical activities and you know, he loves watching. I'll watch things with him, you know, from movies and then analyze it and go over. We listen to music. We listen. We're listening to like stupid kid music and music I like and showing each other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's one side of the most exciting thing, and then just working on new projects. I don't know, like I love coming up with creative new ideas. So I've been working on some new ideas for things of just like creating like content and things that are DJ related, but in a different field. And it's been really fun to like work on that stuff and hopefully bring it to life. And then just the other projects, like the podcast, super fun for me to do, just collecting new music and linking up with other people. And the production, I'm just like super hyped to just like when I have free time, just work on stuff and just make beats and download new sounds and learn new programs. And I don't know, I just feel like a little kid. I've just been like the same way I was about DJing. I've just been delving into all that production stuff and just having fun with it, you know?
Yeah. So tell me one decision that changed your life forever.
I feel like every day there's something like that, you know, where you never would have thought you would go even just eat lunch at a place and you see somebody and it changes your life. And that happens to me all the time. I'm constantly analyzing it. But I guess one decision, there's so many, but I don't know, there's so many, but one thing sticks out in my mind. I remember being in Las Vegas during the Magic convention, which is like the clothing convention, and DJing the Bongo Jeans booth. And they had booked this guy, DJ AM, to come play with us. And I just met him and this whole thing. And he left his needles and some of his stuff in the booth. And he gave me his card because we had like bonded over like Serato and like DJ nerd stuff. And he gave me his card, which was like a really dope card. I feel like he had like a ticket for getting arrested for like a noise complaint on the back of it, and it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. But he leaves his needles, and I called him and I'm like, yo, just met you, this Spider at the Bongo Jeans booth, you left your needles. And he's like, oh shit, I'm at the Vegas airport. And I'm going to do this John Varvatos store opening in LA, like right now. And I need my needles. Like, can you bring them to me? And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what? He's asking me. And I'm like, I don't know, man. And like, I'm with Steve Wonder. And he's like, go do it. And I'm like, I'm not going to go. I got to go to my car and drive to the Vegas airport and rush there. And Steve's like, go do it. I'm like, all right. I was like, all right, cool. See you soon. And I wasn't going to do it, you know, and I feel like I went and did it. And he was like, I am so indebted to you. Thank you so much. And I remember I had my mixtape that I just made with him. And I'm like, that I just made. And it was with me. And I was like, yo, just listen to my mix. Do me that. You know, like I did you this favor. And he's like, all right, cool. And I hit him when I got back to LA. And he's like, I actually listened to the mix. I love it. Like, come out to my club. And like that just changed so much stuff. You know what I mean? It was
That's
like,
huge.
He introduced me to Kevin Scott. He told me to come to LAX. I met Kevin Scott. He's like, I do the opening stuff here. I heard your mix. AM said he loved it. You know, maybe you can open here. Like everything changed like that time. You know what I mean? And maybe if I didn't bring the needles, I would never have stuck in his mind. We never would have had that conversation. I never would have come out. You know, who knows? But that was
that's awesome.
A weird thing that seems like nothing, you know, that now to this
It's like
day,
you said, all these little things.
Yeah.
They turn out to mean something.
Right. And it does go to show that if you're unprepared, if I was like, hey, one day I want to be like AM, maybe I should make a mix. Like instead, I didn't even know who AM was, and I had made a mix, and it was randomly in the same vein, and he liked it, and it's all about just like honing your craft, finding what you love, and doing it, and being prepared for those situations, you know, because that mix came out of a love, you know, for like DJing, and it was sort of a hybrid of what DJs were doing on mixtapes and other stuff. I was mashing up stuff, but I had real rappers on like half of it, rapping over, like redoing Far Side songs, but with like saying my name and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, just having that ready to go is like that whole like, I guess luck meets preparation and opportunity, or whatever the saying is. You know.
What talent have you always wished you had more of?
I think the talent of not thinking. I don't know if that's something, but not overanalyzing everything, and not being so self-conscious that and not being full of self-doubt. I feel like there's a talent to just having the ability to putting yourself out there and really seeing what happens and not being afraid to fail, and then readjusting afterwards, instead of thinking about what's going to happen and worrying about it so much that you don't do anything. So I do feel like that's a talent among people.
Sure.
Is just really getting things done and not being afraid to put yourself out there and not being afraid to look stupid and just not giving a fuck really, you know, about like, why do you even care what other people think, you know? So
that's a big one.
I wish I could scratch better.
What?
I mean, dude, the scratch world now is like insane. Like I've been scratching for 20 years, but some of the stuff that these kids are doing is so mind-blowing. And I'll practice in my room for like 4 hours. I'm like, I'm gonna get it. And I will sort of like start to get it, but they're next level, dude. It's like when you would go to the arcade and like the guys were playing, or girls or whatever, playing Mortal Kombat, and they're so good, you know, they're doing all the buttons, and I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to do that. Like, that's insane. So I wish I could scratch better.
Okay. What other career outside of music would you choose if you knew you couldn't fail?
Oh, I knew I couldn't fail. I think I would love to do stand-up comedy because I love making people laugh. I love laughing with people. I love coming up with just stupid ideas and just taking one idea and like talking about it to death, you know, like, and just like looking at every angle of it and just making jokes about it and analyzing it to the point where you never thought it could be analyzed from that perspective, you know? And
I think you'd probably make a good comedian.
Shit, I need the first talent of the not caring part.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta I need a pill that can give me that. Limitless. No, just, like I would love to do that, or something in the sense of like developing like TV shows or like content, just like for fun, you know, like coming up with cool TV show ideas and being able to bring it to life is just sounds so fun to me.
For sure. So if I worked for you, what's something I would hear you say over and over?
Oh, man. I guess it could be worse. Let's just make it work somehow.
Okay. All right.
I try to take that approach to things, just like, look, we're lucky to be here. Everything could be worse. Like, just be grateful for what we got here. Let's just make this work and have fun, and don't dwell on the negative aspects, which I am telling myself, I think, in the sense, because I will do that as well.
Of course.
But, just try to keep that positive outlook and just try to make sure you have fun with whatever we're doing. Yeah. Even if it's whack, let's just have fun with it.
Okay, so I don't know. This is a tough one because we got Bill Murray, Ray Liotta, AM. So who would you be most excited to learn as a fan of your work?
Oh, man. Shoot. I mean, there's so many people that pop into my head, and in different times of my life. For some reason, like, if I just go with my gut feeling when they say, like, what flashes in your head, like, even though I don't even make stuff in that same vein right now, but like DJ Premier, I think is somebody that I've always looked up to. I mean, since the second I've touched it, even before I knew what DJs were doing, I love DJ Premier, from his production to every little scratch he did on everything is just like so perfect to me and so funky, and I love it, and it's just like was my life growing up, you know. So
That's
I
dope.
guess if I had to pick someone, there's a lot of people, but he's somebody.
Yeah. What's your favorite city to travel to?
I love New York so much. I mean, I love certain things about a lot of cities, but there's just something about New York that just gives me such energy and inspiration, and I don't know, it has so much to give in such a small, concentrated area, from food to music to, I mean, just literally everything, you know? So I love it so much.
Cool. What's the last great book you read?
Great book. This book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good, actually. I was kind of like turned off by the title a little bit. Like, is this going to be some like broed out, like, listen, bro, don't give a fuck about anybody. But I feel like it had so many really smart, insightful points and things that are rooted in common sense that people ignore about themselves and other people. And just like any book, you know what I mean? Even when it comes down to like the Bible or the Torah or a book like that, you take, I mean, at least from my perspective, take what you want out of it, you know, and apply it to your own life. You're not going to take the whole book and be like, this is how I live now. But that one I thought was just, had a lot of good points in it.
Nice. That's a good one. I haven't read it yet, but I keep seeing it.
It's good. It's also an audio book that you can listen to within 4 hours, which is like, I don't know how much you drive, but that was great for me.
No, I love it. Yeah, I do audiobooks.
I've been
I
doing
jump on the
Audible.
bike and at the gym and stuff.
Yeah. What about you? What's the best book you've just read?
Right now I'm reading The Sicilian, which is the sequel to The Godfather.
Right. That's cool.
And it's great. I just read, I'm a huge fan of the movie, The Godfather, but I'd never read the book until last year.
Oh, okay.
And
the
book blew my mind. It's like, as great as the movie is, the book's like even better in some ways, because you kind of lose yourself in it.
Right.
And so I'm just reading that now. And then I just read this book called The Inner Game of Tennis, which is, it's supposed to be tennis as a metaphor for the inner game of everything.
Oh, okay.
And how we fuck ourselves up by thinking too much.
Yes.
And kind of what you're saying. So it uses tennis as a metaphor, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, what movie have you seen the most in your life?
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of movies over and over. For some reason, I've seen that movie Swingers with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn 1,000 times. I don't know why.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie so much.
It's a great movie, although I watched it recently, and like seeing it in hindsight, like it's a little weird because it was a specific time in LA, and you had like, you didn't have the baggage of Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau, who they are now.
Yeah.
And I just find like it's a totally different experience watching it now.
I agree, and it looks like more student filmy and like
it's still good.
Very acted out. But there was, I don't know. You're right. At the
still
time,
really good,
there's
though.
something that spoke to me.
Yeah.
But lately,
And the whole thing of like he's calling him money, like now it's like if somebody did that, you want to kick him in the nuts.
Right, but at the time it was the best.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like pre-social media.
Yeah, totally. All right, last question, and I think I asked you this last time, but we always end on
That's fine.
Favorite DJ of all time.
Oh man, there's too many.
Well, you can pick a different one than you did last time.
Favorite DJ of all times.
How about the favorite that you've seen live?
Man, there's too many. You know, I mean, look, on the growing, DJ AM was always like my biggest inspiration. And so, I mean, I'll just say, you know, I was always so motivated to go out and see him DJ. And even when I wasn't, and I was like, I've seen him DJ 1,000 times, I would go and he would do some new things that were inspirational and would just like force me to go home and practice, you know? So I gotta stick with him as the top pinnacle for me. Just like he's the best. He always will be. I think about him every time I DJ. You know, I still got tons of his records in my house, stickers, everything staring me in the face daily, you know.
Yeah. Amazing.
He's the best.
Dude, thanks for coming back, man. This might have been better than even the first one.
Okay, good. Thanks for having me.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just keep following you on social to see what's next.
Yeah, I'm still doing my social media, trying to keep my website updated, but basically it's all just my Instagram at DJ Spider. I'll probably be all on your links or something.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm just constantly doing that, and hopefully some more music will be cracking through I got my first official Spotify song.
Oh, nice.
That's the one I did with Vice is actually like a real song on Spotify. It's my first one, so hopefully I'll start releasing more. And
dope.
I still have my SoundCloud hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
From all the
tough
copyright issues.
So bad.
Yeah, not sure what to do about that. So I've been releasing like these edit packs through there. So it's all on there, all the links. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
See you next time.
Peace. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. Spider is dope and a lot of fun to talk to. Hopefully we'll have him back again one day soon. Make sure you leave us a review on iTunes. Hit us with those 5 stars if you would. And shoot us a comment. Twitter, at Rebel Radio Net, Facebook, and check out our new YouTube page, Rebel Radio Net as well. And most importantly, make sure you come back next week for more Rebel Radio. Peace.